What's up everybody, this is Derek here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the recent update to 0.7.1 for the Chinese servers, and I'm going to be bringing you the English patch notes for that update. We'll be talking about what's new, when it's coming to the global servers, and whatever happened to the 0.6.0 global update, as well as what's coming with that one. And now's a good time to say please like this video to help the channel grow, and consider subscribing if you haven't already for tons more PUBG Mobile content, gameplay, tips and tricks, drop/loot location videos, and a whole lot more are on the way soon. So what happened to the global update to 0.6.0? Now we know it's coming in the middle of June, and my estimation would be June 19th because that's a Monday, which seems to be when they're pushing updates, and it would coincide with when beta testing is planned to be started about a week earlier than that. So 0.6.0 brings a ton of new features to the game, including first-person perspective servers, which are huge. That's obviously what many people are looking forward to. I'll be putting up some more gameplay of that fairly soon. It also features arcade mode on Miramar, so now you get arcade mode on both Miramar, the desert map, as well as Erangel, the original map. There are glass windows in buildings now. That changes the mechanics of jumping through windows because now you're making a very loud glass shattering sound when you do that. So people might be using doors more. You can throw things through windows to break them. You can shoot through windows to break them. When you're up against a window that is not broken, it behaves very similarly to a wall. So you can't point your weapon out of a window unless it's broken. So very, very interesting gameplay mechanic changes there. You also gain a pistol slot, so if you want a third weapon slot for your pistol, perhaps you want a suppressed pistol for close quarters combat or something, you can do that now. Be aware that, of course, you will be taking up additional room in your inventory with the ammunition, as well as with any attachments that may not be equipped for that pistol, so something to keep in mind. And then we have a reference guide for weapons, which I'll delve more into in a future video. Basically, what that does is it lets you know the statistics for each weapon, what attachments go on each weapon, and just some really good, interesting data for us nerds that like to study that sort of thing. Which automatic rifle does the most damage, which one shoots the fastest, which one has the longest reload time, all of that is there, and I'll definitely be covering that soon. So now let's move on to 0.7.1 and the largest change, War Mode. So War Mode is a new entertainment mode or arcade mode, and it's open for a limited time of each day. You need to be level 10 to be able to queue for it, and you're basically given a random starting weapon, and you can re-jump into the battle after you're killed. So there's a respawn timer, and at the end of that timer, you board the plane again, and you can drop down again and continue your battle. And how do you win this mode? Well, you're playing as a team, and you want to acquire a certain or accumulate a certain number of kills. I believe it's 200. I'll be posting a good number of videos. Right now, War Mode is shut down at the time of making this video. It's not during that open time. So as soon as it is, I will definitely be putting up some content from it because I'm super excited to play this mode. This mode plays very differently than PUBG Mobile, where normally your goal is to survive, and once you are dead, you're out of the game. So I'm curious how popular it's going to be. And War Mode is going to be open. These are Chinese times, Monday through Friday, 1800 to 1 a.m., and then Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. So longer periods of time on the weekends, and then during the weekdays, it's just evening. So 1800 for those of you who use AM and PM would be 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. So those are Chinese times though, so you're going to have to translate those to UTC or whatever your local time zone is. Next up, we've got emotes. So we have an expression animation system. I know I'm going to put up a video on this too. I'm going to be posting videos on all these new features. This is something that some people are going to love and some people are not going to love. And that's okay because you don't have to use them. So basically, other mobile games, other games in this battle royale genre have been doing this for a while with crazy dance moves, and like I said, some people prefer that, some people don't. I will be showcasing that soon, and I think that in rare cases these could be useful, especially if they add more useful tactical ones where you could be explaining things without talking, although voice chat is honestly much better in my opinion. You also have a new, so I actually took the Chinese patch notes, I read through them, I had them translated, and then I tried to rewrite them. So that's what these English notes compose of. And there are one or two words that the meaning didn't translate well, or it just didn't make much sense. This is one of those war zone systems. So basically, what it's going to do is it's going to rank regions. So this is in China. So this might not be something that comes globally, because globally we have different servers already. We have Europe, North America, South America. I know there are some other ones that are on the way potentially. So in China, though, on the Chinese servers, they're going to be ranking people by region now. And you can view your own regional rankings. So you don't have to compete with the entire server. Instead, you can compete with people in your region and see how you're doing compared to them. There's also going to be a new friend spectate mode, which means that players who are waiting to queue for a game, if your friend is in a game, you can actually spectate their game, which is fun. And there's also a free camera mode, which I'm not entirely sure what this is, but when it's used, the character will turn their head towards the camera. So I'm imagining this is like a selfie mode where you can take screenshots of yourself in the game. That's my understanding, at least. And again, the translation issues there make it a little tough to tell what exactly they mean. Next, we have weapon updates, and these are huge. So I know that that's not like a feature a lot of people talk about, weapon balance, but the weapons have been rebalanced in the PC version very recently, and here they are here in the mobile version, you can see. So we've got a new SLR precision shooting rifle. So this is a longer range rifle designed to compete with rifles like the M24 or the SKS. And I will be doing a review on that. So we'll get it in training mode, and we'll also look at it in the new system where you can check out all the weapon statistics. I want to call it like the weapon inventory screen or whatever. So we'll be taking a look at it there. We'll see how the stats compare to other similar DMR weapons, and we'll have some fun with that. It is a 7.62 shooter, so it shoots pretty hard. So there's also 3 new grips. I'm not a huge fan of this. There's the light grip, the half grip, and the thumb grip. Another video coming on that soon too. You get the theme by now. And I'm not a huge fan of this on the mobile version. On the PC version, it makes sense because basically there are trade-offs with these grips, and they all do different things better than the other one. However, on the mobile version, when you're trying to run through a building and loot stuff, I'm not sure it's going to really make sense to have 5 different types of grips. Of course, before we only had the angle grip and the vertical grip, and that was enough to easily figure out. You know, you could see it on the ground, you could immediately recognize it. Now you have more grips to figure out and more grips to potentially tailor to your play style. So we'll see how that works. There's also the new 3x scope and the 6x scope. The 6x scope, very much like the 8x, can be zoomed between 3 and 6 times. So other than having different sensitivities between those scopes, having a 6x basically renders anything from a 3 to a 4 to a 6 redundant, because you can use it in any of those ranges. Automatic rifles are now renamed assault rifles. Not sure that I really like that, but because there are a couple like the M16, I suppose, that can't shoot in full automatic mode, so maybe that's why they're doing that. And then a word I couldn't translate is now renamed precision shooter rifle. So someone can jump in the comments there and let me know what that means. And then support the assembly of rifle muzzle and magazine accessories on the shooter rifles, and support the assembly of shotgun beam receiver in a short tube shotgun. So that I would assume that short tube shotgun is the sawed off, and that we will now be able to equip things there. And I'll check that in that new, again, that mode where you can check out different weapon statistics and attachments and see what's compatible. We'll check it out there, and I'll let you know. And finally, the 8x scope is no longer compatible with assault rifles, the S12K or the M249. This is to help better differentiate between the sniper rifles, the DMRs, and rifles like the M16 and the M416 that weren't really designed to be 8x scope sniping rifles in single shot mode. So they're basically trying to just box weapons into categories a little more defined, because at least right now, the assault rifles could pretty much do anything, and that was a bit of a problem for balance. So we've got other optimizations now. They've solved some problems with the iPhone 6 and 6S frequent flashback. I'm assuming that might be related to those blocky textures, those like white snowy textures that people were getting, and some of the issues that people were having with those phones. That's always cool. Frag grenades now have an added hit effect and animation, and they can now destroy vehicles. They've also adjusted the weight, or the weight is how much inventory space these items take up. They've adjusted the frag grenade up from 12 to 18, saying that, hey, look, that's pretty good. They've also adjusted the Molotov cocktail down from 18 to 16, the smoke grenade from 16 to 14, and the stun grenade from 14 to 12. So frag grenades are obviously good. They do a lot of damage. They are awesome late game or in certain situations where you want to flush people out of buildings and stuff. So they're going to take up a little bit more inventory now. They're going to take up 50% more inventory, actually. Next up, we've got the Adrenaline Syringe, which is, of course, the best boost item in the game. It gives you 100% boost. Now that can spawn on the map, very low probability, so I'd imagine that's going to be very similar to something like a level 3 helmet or a level 3 chest armor. It's going to be rare, but it can spawn in the wild now. So that's pretty awesome. And the use time has been adjusted from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. 6 seconds might recognize is the amount of time it takes to take a painkiller right now, which gives you 60% boost. So Adrenaline Syringe, very good. Now you can find it on the map. Try to find one because they are awesome. We also have some firearm balance adjustments, so they've slightly increased damage to submachine guns and pistols, sniper rifles, and precision shooter rifles. And so basically every gun other than those ARs. They've also slightly increased the damage coefficient of submachine guns and shotguns on limbs, hands, and feet. I'll probably have to do another video on that, but there's actually a damage coefficient for everything from headshots to torsos to legs to feet to hands. Everything does a different amount of damage depending on where you hit somebody. It's very realistic, which is cool, but it's also pretty complicated, so we'll have to touch on that in another video. Slightly speed up the reload time of submachine guns, so those are going to be like your Tommy gun, your Vector, those sorts of weapons, and slowing the reload time of assault rifles. So you can see other guns have been buffed. The assault rifle damage hasn't been nerfed to my understanding. However, the reload time has been, and the other guns have been buffed. So effectively, the ARs are not going to be as dominant as they have been. Because right now, get an M416, get some attachments on it, and just mow people down. So obviously, they want those other guns to be useful late game too. Something like a Tommy gun or something like an Uzi with an extended magazine should be good close quarters combat late game guns. However, they're really dumped these days in favor of just an AR and a Kar 98 or something like that. So optimize the logic of the friend list. Let's get to that now, and fix the data anomaly caused by too many friends. So now you can have more friends, and hopefully the list won't bug out, because sometimes what happened was when you have a ton of friends, in my experience over 130 or so, 140, then sometimes people don't show up. Sometimes people show up as offline when they're online, and hopefully they fix that. Other optimizations, you're now able to bulk disassemble duplicate clothing items. So if you have 10 red shirts that you want to disassemble for silver fragments, you can do that now. In the entertainment mode or the arcade mode, the minimap will now be automatically resized to zoom into the safe mode after it's open, so you don't, so especially for arcade mode, the faster paced ones, the circle is very small and it's annoying to have to constantly zoom into it every game. So now it automatically zooms to the size of that first circle. Increase the report button in historical record. I think they're just trying to improve the reporting players who are cheating or otherwise doing things bad. So optimize the performance of watching the game in spectator mode. This is good because spectator mode has still been pretty buggy up to this point, and they're going to add in the display of current weapons and character status information, which you didn't get before. So now as a spectator, you can be a little bit more helpful to your friends, or you can just annoy them while they're trying to still win. If you run out of gas in a vehicle, you'll be prompted to use a gas can. This makes sense. Might also make gas cans a little more relevant. And automatic sprint button and loot button locations have been or can be altered now, which is huge. So now you can actually move those buttons. Before this update, you could not. They were in a fixed position, and it was very annoying, especially the loot button. It was too high for me. So I am super excited that I can now move that and move those into positions where they're easier to click. And custom buttons can now be made larger too, so you have more resize options. And finally, we're on to bug fixes, which these I could not even try to figure out exactly what they're saying because I don't know exactly what bugs they're referring to. So just know that a ton of bugs have been fixed. You have the smoke bomb flying card bug. You have the probe moves the card into to accelerate bug. So there are a lot of odd bugs, and I'm glad that the developers are finding them and fixing them. I really hope, I'm gonna have to test it. I really hope that the speed bug has been fixed. It's so annoying. So many people are using it. I'm not gonna post how to do it here. You guys can easily find that. But basically you do a certain key combination and then you can move and jump faster, and it's being abused so much. So hopefully that will be squashed out too, just because it makes a little bit more of a level playing field, and that's really cool in a game like this. So, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully this video on the 0.7.1 patch notes helped you out. If it did, like I said before, give it a like to help the channel grow, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing if you haven't already for tons more PUBG Mobile content. My name is Derek G, and I hope to see you in a future video or on the battlefield soon, or in my Discord, which I'll also leave a link to down below.